And what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is today's Ethereum analysis video. I have Sean with me today. Sean, say hi.
Good morning, guys. Hope you guys all had a brilliant start of the week. Everything's red. You guys just got out of bed, and hey, things are getting exciting. Krisha.
Exciting indeed. Now, quite a few things to cover for Ethereum, okay, but for those of you who are playing, well, ETHUSD or ETHBTC, no worries. We will be covering both pairs today, okay? That way we get a more holistic view on what Ethereum could very well be doing. Now, Sean, we will be starting off with that Mango dashboard. Let's go ahead and see what the dashboard is telling us, right?
Let's go.
So
I actually haven't looked at this today, and it'll be interesting to see. Oh man, it's all red, Krisha.
It's all red.
Red. I have red curtains up today too. I'm in a really good mood, so you guys are gonna have to forgive me.
Why are you in a good mood? Everything is red.
It's by the dip time, guys. I'm actually in a mix of a good mood and annoyed mood because I missed two bids on one was Ethereum. Actually, I tried to long Ethereum, and I missed it by $1, less than $1 actually, bounces out me, and another altcoin that I've been eyeing. But hey, a few others went through and got those bounces. Good mood. Let's go. Let's
okay,
start.
so I mean, clearly I don't have to filter out on this dashboard. ETHUSDT on the dashboard, second on the list is short. This short signal came in 2 days ago.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it caught it, right? It caught the dip. And since then, you are up 5.89%. ETHBTC as well, fourth on the list, also flipped short 9 hours ago. Since then, you are up 1.26%. Now,
I missed both of these.
Yeah, same here. Now, the thing is that, so Sean is happy. He's been buying the dips on his various listings on his side. But
so for me, I'm going to ignore these short trend signals for now. I think it's ignore the shorts and go for the long trades. That's how I'm going to play. Keep it easy. Directional direction is towards the upside for now, until we break some major levels, which may happen, guys.
Actually, we were having a discussion today that I want to fill them in on, right? In terms of basically the macro direction of, at least the altcoin market. And well, Sean is under the impression that we are sort of, in that phase where we're entering a bull market. Now, I thought his point, now I asked him why, right? And I thought he had a valid point. Now, before I bring up your point, Sean, get ready. Let's actually get onto the chart. I'm currently on that weekly time frame. Gonna switch off everything. Okay, and Sean, what were we looking at in terms of, why you think that altcoins may very well be heading into a bull market?
Well, are we looking at Ethereum right now on the weekly Ethereum USD, or are we looking at Ethereum BTC?
ETHUSD right now I'm currently on ETHUSD on the weekly.
Okay, so if you're looking at Ethereum USD, the signs aren't there just yet.
Okay.
Right? And this is primarily because Bitcoin hasn't really convinced anyone who's looking at this at a macro level, at least, that we're going into a bull market until we break those weekly levels of making higher highs and high lows, right? We've been putting in those lower highs on the weekly, and we're doing that on Ethereum USD as well, okay? Very similar to Bitcoin. However, if you look at the Bitcoin pairing against Ethereum, or rather Ethereum against Bitcoin, so ETHBTC, that's where you start seeing a different picture. And then you look at other coins like Cardano, and even a lot of coins, like, for example, ChainLink. ChainLink has just been in a massive bull run for a while on the weekly time frame. Yeah. But now the altcoins, many of these low cap coins are beginning to do something different. They're putting in weekly higher highs and higher lows. There are some of them actually threatening to put in monthly higher highs.
Yes.
So that's where it's getting exciting, right? Now, I really want to emphasize that the difference between me saying, hey, we are in a bull market versus, hey, we may be entering a bull market. I think that we are on the phase where we may be entering a bull market, right? I don't think it is confirmed just yet, but the signs are there. And it may be getting exciting very soon.
Yeah, I actually agree with you because when we were talking about this, right, earlier this morning, and I sort of pulled up the weekly charts as well as the monthly charts, I'm like, damn, like quite a few of these coins happen in that consolidation phase, and we're seeing them sort of, like edge up every week, every month, just a bit. putting in those that bullish sort of structure. But I think one thing that really stood out to me that basically from what you said was in the last bull cycle. Okay, everything went berserk in a matter of months.
Yep, exactly.
Right, 2 months.
Yeah. And cryptocurrency markets are the kind of markets where there's a fine balance between patience and being assertive with your direction of the macro market, right? Because if you get a little bit too patient, you wait for too much confirmation on the weekly time frames, right? A lot can happen in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in just a couple of weeks, and the market will run away from you. And we've seen that happen even with Bitcoin, which is why I think the sweet balance is looking at a mix of the higher time frames as well as the mid time frame, which is the daily and the 2-day time frames. But Krisha, since you are bringing up this conversation where we're talking about a macro bull market across all coins, let's pull up ETHBTC. We'll get back to ETHUSD, but I just want to quickly show you guys what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I am currently on the ETHBTC chart. I switched, in fact, as soon as you mentioned the higher lows on the ETHBTC chart.
Okay, perfect. So I want you to look at the week of, I think it is 7th October 2019, right?
7th October 2019. Okay, so we're somewhere around, where is that? Okay, here, this candle, guys.
October, yeah. So exactly, right? We put in a candle over there, which got rejected at a key horizontal at around 0.022 Satoshi.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we put in a high over there, and now that was a very, very important level moving forward. Going all the way into 2020 now, in the beginning of Feb, we took out that high, right? We closed a candle above that high, as well as we wicked above that high.
That's right.
That was very, very important. As soon as that happened, you can see a massive push towards the Kijun.
Yeah.
Okay? Got rejected there, yes, and we dumped back down. But that dump set in a higher low. We did not come in and take out the previous low from the beginning of the year. Right?
That's right.
That was really, really key now. Now, this is where people get confused, right? Yes, we pushed up and we failed to take out the high again. But until we set in a lower low compared to this low at around 0.020 Satoshi, Krisha,
yeah,
these highs don't really count as lower highs. Not to me, at least. This is Ethereum consolidating on a weekly time frame in a bullish posture. We're putting in higher lows. Each of these lows that have come in ever since that initial thrust up towards the Kijun have led to higher lows, right?
Yeah.
And look at what's happening. If you have your Ichimoku on right now, you can see the Kijun and the Tenkin pressing in onto Ethereum's price action while it's about to burst into the cloud, giving us a massive edge-to-edge trade opportunity. Nothing's confirmed just yet, of course. Nothing's confirmed just yet, which is why we always have to wait for the confirmation. This could break down. By all means. But you're seeing things begin to shape up. As long as they're putting in higher lows, we may be at the start of a bull market on the altcoins.
Yeah. And I agree with you, as in I feel like Ethereum is actually it's actually telling people a story here. Now it's like this is likely to come to a climax soon, right? Because of how pressed we are, against that Kijun as well as that Tenkin. It's like a perfect sandwich right now.
Yep.
And this could sort of break either way, but I think you're right in that the key level over here is going to be taking out those lows if, in fact, this has to flip bearish once again. But right now, this looks like it's coiling, quite literally, because if you kind of look at the structure, now we actually, since we're already on ETHBTC, we'll actually start off with dissecting the ETHBTC chart. Okay. And then this is where the triangle is being put in. There's like a symmetrical triangle being put in on ETHBTC right now. And you can see that it's sort of coiling. We're putting in these higher lows. And then we're putting in these lower highs, but it's still sort of getting sandwiched. We're getting pressed into a very, very narrow zone right now.
Indeed.
Right. But against basically on today's weekly close, I want you to notice how we got rejected off that Kijun once again, right? So we got rejected off that Kijun. I do believe that in order for this picture to actually, pick a side, I'll be looking for the next weekly candle to take out that Kijun if we have to flip bullish. I think that the consequences of us actually taking out the Kijun on the weekly time frame is going to be major. It's going to be major because if you just drag this line out, you'll notice that this is also a historic trend line on the ETH chart.
I agree.
Right. So it's looking neutral right now, actually, on the weekly time frame. What are your thoughts on that?
It is. Like so the weekly time frame is telling you to be a little bit more patient, right?
Yeah.
Be patient. And if you look at the Kijun there, that was telling you, you know what, you don't want to be getting too aggressive over here, which is why we've not been looking to long Ethereum against Bitcoin at the very least, against those major levels, right? I was looking at Ethereum as a buy opportunity for bounce plays, or only if we get a major dip for a long-term position. We're not seeing that just yet. Perhaps on the weekly 21 EMA, we could look for a trade, but I think there's something easier that we can look at if you're looking at BTC on the higher time frames, because Ethereum moves a lot faster than Bitcoin. So what I like to do in these kind of situations is like, okay, this coin's moving a little faster, so I like to divide the time frame by 2. Now dividing the time frame by 2 on the weekly gives us 3.5 days. So let's go ahead and look at the 3-day. I want you to keep your Ichimoku time frame on, or template on.
Okay.
Look at the 3-day. Turn on your 3-day 200 moving average as well.
All right.
And you're going to see something that you're going to find very, very familiar.
Whoa.
One of my trade setups.
Whoa.
Exactly.
I'm going to get rid of all my lines, guys. I want you to notice how the 200 simple moving average is just sort of coming down on price. Now I put my lines back on, and what do you know? Look at that trend line on top. Exactly. That's beautiful. Wow.
So it's guiding price really, really well as resistance. You can also see the hint of a bull market in the near future. The cloud has flipped green, Krisha, on FBTC.
Oh my.
Right? Now, I don't want to get too excited just yet, because if we do not clear this 200 moving average and see continuation, this may flip red again. But historically, whenever we've seen all of these bullish, where the price is living above the 200 moving average, price is living above the cloud, the Tenkin is living above the Kijun, the 21 EMA is supporting the underneath the price action, and price is well above the cloud, we go into a nice bull market. Just historically, you can see that really nice runs on Bitcoin. I meant Ethereum against Bitcoin. And, right. Like I said, we have the signs, we have the hints. No reason to get aggressive just yet. But if you mentally prepare, right, start learning the things you need to do and start getting ready, even if you have all the tools ready, right? If you have all the skills ready, you have to now get mentally ready for what your plan is moving forward, guys.
Yeah. Oh man, this is my jaw is still like kind of, it just hit the floor. I haven't looked at the 3-day time frame at all for ETH-BTC. So this is actually pretty significant. And Sean, the price relative to the 200 simple moving average, like, I mean, there's not enough price. I'm currently on that Polo exchange. There's not much price history to give me a long enough line for the 200 simple, but it's been pretty freaking neat on it so far. At least whatever price action it does have on it, it's been really good.
It's a guide, right? It's a guide.
It's a
general guide as to whether or not we are going into a bull trend or a bear trend. You don't have to take trades directly off it, but it helps you know that, hey, you know what, things are beginning to look good, because it's price has now been living next to that 200 moving average for a while, right? It's been coming up there and then bouncing up, making that higher low, and then coming up there, getting rejected, bouncing down again, bouncing up, making that higher low, and then coming up there again, right? So what's happening is that the 200 moving average on the 3-day time frame is getting squeezed between the Tenkin, the 21 EMA and Kijun, right? You're not seeing that much movement anymore. So there's going to be a decision that will be made very, very soon. Does this break down or break up? And that's what I'm saying. Don't get impatient just yet. You can position yourself, yes, but you have to do it strategically.
Yeah. This picture is looking really good.
We could break down. Always Remember that. You do not want to be longing against resistance, right? You want to wait for that resistance to flip first and then long, or wait for price to get rejected against the resistance and long into support, right?
Yeah.
And support is coming in at Krisha, the Tenkin and the Kijun would be one level that I'd be looking at. And next would be basically somewhere you'd be looking to fish for a high low somewhere around 0.02135 Satoshi, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to take some patience.
I think it's going to be this level right here at around 0.0216 around-ish. I think there's a horizontal coming in at that point. But no, this is a decent picture. I think it's. I was wondering, is Ethereum that coin that is really the market leader at this point? Because I noticed last time, as soon as we broke that 215 region that I was looking at, so I was looking for a price to break 215 on ETHUSD in order to see if we would have continuation all the way up to 250, right? And I noticed that as soon as Ethereum managed to take that out on the daily time frame, a lot of the other alts like Cardano, Zilliqa, that's when all of those kind of alts started popping, and they ran like 100%. Zilliqa ran more than 100%. And but I felt like Ethereum was the clear picture at the time.
I don't want to give a strong opinion on that. I do believe that Ethereum sets the tone for the market, but is it a market leader? I'm not entirely sure that I buy into that narrative, right?
Okay.
Because every time people have said that, hey, so-and-so coin is leading the market, I've always noticed that there was another coin that really started the run, and people just left it unnoticed, but they'll hang on to what they do notice and say, hey, this coin started the run, right? So I don't think it doesn't really help us, right? It doesn't really help us if you think about it. What really does help us is to see, hey, which coins are moving and which category of the market cap are they in. And if you do notice, currently it's the low cap to the mid caps that are moving, while all the higher cap coins are kind of just sitting steady, right? Yeah, they're kind of downtrending a little bit on the lower time frames. Seems like money flow is flowing from the higher cap coins to the lower cap coins and then vice versa. So I think that's a better way to look at it.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's a good sort of perspective on your side. I think that's that in fact is better, right? That way you're keeping your eyes open in basically every corner. Like a broader picture of what could very well be going on in the market.
Because what tends to happen, right, is people say, hey, you know what? Ethereum is leading the market. So I'm going to wait for Ethereum to move, and then I'm going to go ahead and buy all these other coins because Ethereum's leading the market. I don't think that ends well for people, because you might just be sitting in a coin that's not moving while Ethereum leads the market and then ends the market as well. Like, for example, ADA, right? ADA started moving. I didn't wait to go and buy LTC and XRP like a lot of people did. We know people who did that, right?
Yeah.
They watched ADA move and they went and bought the other coins. But what did you and I do? We bought ADA. ADA moved. We bought ADA, right? And ADA kept moving. And as long as the trend was strong, we just kept buying ADA, right? Until it reached a level that was really key, the monthly level, and then started losing its trend momentum. Okay, we got out of ADA. Then we started noticing that, hey, these mid caps are moving. Okay, cool. Now we buy the mid caps, right? We bought Zilliqa. We bought this. We bought that. But we buy what's moving, right? That way you're not just waiting. You can take a start position. Don't get me wrong, guys, but don't miss out on opportunities on trends that are trending.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So
Apologies
now question is ETH BTC, are we in a trend? Right now it seems like we are kind of falling down. We did lose a wick on the 3-day time frame. Okay, we lost that wick low there. So let's actually get onto some of the lower time frames, perhaps the daily. Let's start off with the daily and see what we could very well be putting in there. Now, relative to the cloud, it's all right. I don't think that ETH BTC does well off of the cloud on the lower time frames. Perhaps when it's trending well, like in a proper bull market, I noticed that that's when the cloud comes into play. But right now, I feel like it's more of a consolidation kind of price action that we have here.
I think so too.
Right.
I don't think you're going to get much out of like the daily or even the 12-hour. Perhaps the 4-hour will give you a more short-term trade, aggressive, because Ethereum does move aggressively, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just pulled up the 4-hour, Krisha, and you can see that we have a bearish TK across, broken to the cloud too, and we're seeing continuation. That was the trade right there. Break into the cloud, lost the Tenkin, lost the Kijun, lost the 21 EMA, and you're seeing continuation right away, and that's already a nice yeah, that's a good 3% move already.
Yeah, I think Ethereum also does pretty damn well on the ranges. We could, on the weekly scale, we could see price come all the way down to 0.023 sats, but it's always going to be an if this then that, if this then that, right?
Yep.
So at least, at the very least, right now, just looking at the 4-hour cloud, if you want to go based on this, then it seems to be doing fairly well on the 4-hour cloud.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So I think we could at the very least expect an edge to edge on the cloud so we clearly are already broken. The bottom of the cloud is sitting at around 0.23 sats. That's a good about 3% to the downside, right? Like Sean just mentioned. But I'm also seeing a pattern play. I'm seeing a potential pattern play on ETH that we clearly broke out of already. But this is it. It's a symmetrical triangle that was forming on ETH. That broke to the downside. We have an official break, right? And let's see where this takes us to. And once again, like very, very close to the bottom of the cloud there, slightly underneath. But I think it's a good play to be had right now. It is looking weak on the lower time frames. I mean, we could on a more macro scale, we could actually see ETH-BTC come all the way down and test its major weekly levels. The first one being at 0.023 sats.
Exactly. So I do want to point something out that I've been eyeing for a while now. If you go ahead and look at the massive resistance line coming in from your weekly, Kusha, do you have that up? Your weekly resistance line coming in from your lower highs? That you marked out. That was essentially being guided by the Kijun.
Okay, yes, I have that.
You have that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now switch back on over to your 4-hour time frame. And on each of those junctures, right, each of those areas where we've come up and tested that weekly resistance line, you're going to notice that we consolidated and attempted to break past it.
Yeah.
But all we did each time was break back down, right? And this time I was eyeing for a potential break to the upside. Because if we did break to the upside, it would be pretty pivotal, but we did not. We broke back down again. And each of those times that we actually broke down, we did a edge-to-edge trade and then saw continuation to make a higher low on the weekly time frame. So we may see something like that, an edge-to-edge trade. So we've broken down, okay? May see an edge-to-edge trade, perhaps come down to the 200 moving average on the 4-hour, lines up at the bottom of the cloud perhaps, wick down there, put in another low high on the 4-hour time frame, and then come down to put in a higher low on the weekly time frame. So that's a puzzle I have in my head. I'm looking for something like that. And in the meantime, perhaps we start seeing money start flowing in, or rather, until that happens, we won't be seeing money flow in from the lower caps and mid caps into the higher caps. That's just a theory, guys. So let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, I actually put on the 200 simple moving average on the 4-hour time frame, and I noticed that every time we lost it, right? So the last time we came up to test the weekly level that you just spoke of, we made an edge to edge on the cloud. Okay, not only did we do that, we saw further continuation to the downside. We lost the 4-hour 200 simple moving average. And that was your first clue of whether or not ETH-BTC was going to see even more downside.
Downside, exactly.
Right. So we did get that. However, that downside did set in the first sort of higher low on the weekly time frame. So we could very well see, if we lose the 200 simple moving average, albeit there's still time to go, guys. But if we lose the 200 simple on the 4-hour, once again, I will be looking for further continuation to the downside, perhaps setting in another higher low.
Yep.
So it's going to be an if this then that. But right now on the more immediate time frames, okay, ETH-BTC is looking bearish. And for those of you looking in to build those long positions, I do believe that there are better bids to be had on this one.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything else that you want to add to the ETH-BTC analysis before we get on to ETH-USD?
Nope, we can move on to ETH-USD.
Brilliant. Okay, ETH-USD. Let's actually start off with that weekly because, well, we did close a weekly candle today. Right, so just zoom in. Need to fix my scale. Okay, so I have ETH-USD here open on that Kraken exchange because, well, it's rich in price history. So why the hell not? I'm going to get rid of that 200 simple. It's just in the way. So what do you know, Sean? We did get rejected. So I was actually looking, I've been telling the guys how ETH-USD does really, really well off of its horizontals.
Yeah.
I believe that if you can just play the horizontals, you're likely going to make a lot of money if you're just willing to, set your biases aside and just play the horizontals. And what do you know, the one that I had on top, I think I was telling you about this, which was 247, 248-ish, all the way up to 250. And we actually got up there 2 weeks in a row and got rejected.
Yep.
Both times. And so right now we did close, however, over the Kijun on the weekly time frame. So how important do you think the Kijun is on ETHUSD's weekly time frame?
The way I see it is that Ethereum moves so aggressively that if you do put too much importance on the Kijun, you may end up waiting while it dumps on you. And I think rather you might be better off looking at the 2-day time frame and pertaining to Ethereum's longer higher time frames, and use the weekly Kijun as a guide. So what I'd be looking for is and this is what's worked for me in the past, I look for Ethereum to test its levels on the 2-day time frame and then close above its weekly time frames. If it doesn't do that, then I'll expect continuation towards the downside on the next week, right? But again, with that, notwithstanding a potential test of the weekly time frame before seeing continuation towards the downside. So, for example, let's look at the previous lower high, somewhere around 17 Feb 2020. We lost the weekly Kijun, right? You can see that big red candle come down.
Yeah.
Right? But look at what happened on the next week. Yes, it looks bearish, but we did see a move up first, right? Test the Kijun and further up onto the lower time frame levels, and then dump back down to the next weekly support level. So Ethereum can get a little volatile that when you got to play for it.
Yeah, no, I agree there. So with that, then let's actually move on to the 2-day time frame. So I've marked the Kijun, the weekly Kijun, with a line segment. Okay, for those of you who catch it here, it's at 226, give or take. By the way, the Ichimoku Cloud, guys, is a part of the Mango Ribbon. For those of you who want access to the Mango Ribbon, we have a bunch of, I think, 4 to 5 EMAs and MAs, plus the Ichimoku Cloud. Now, for those of you in a more beginner TradingView account, I think you guys are limited to only having 3 indicators on your chart. So if you want access to the Mango Ribbon that gives you access to more than 3, you can just sign up. I will include a link below, okay, for the Mango Ribbon. You can sign up there and I will grant you access to this free indicator. Cool. All right, so let's actually get onto that 2-day time frame and see where that line segment comes in at. And Sean, we actually are sort of hovering underneath it. However, we have not closed this 2-day candle, of course.
Exactly.
Right. So it's an interesting picture. What are your thoughts on this?
So you may have misunderstood what I was looking for. So essentially, what I'm looking for is for the week to close over the weekly Kijun.
Okay.
While defending the 2-day levels throughout the week as well, right? Now, what are the major 2-day levels? Let's say we're not looking at any EMAs or any Ichimoku levels. The one that's right in my face is right over here at around 217.53.
Yes.
You can see that we had neckline, lost it last time, and broke down very, very aggressively, right? And you can see that big candle at around March 7th. Well, it lined up with that big weekly candle too, right? But it was losing a major 2-day level that kind of dictated the move towards the downside.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now you can come back all the way to around 28th April, came smacked up against it, rejection, tried for almost a week, right? You can count the number of candles, it's around 6 candles, actually 2 weeks, and boom, thrust it down, came back up again, and then finally broke past and had another thrust towards the upside to put a lower high on the weekly, right? Now you're seeing how this all kind of synchronizes, the 2-day time frame and the weekly, or rather, that's how I like to look at it. Now we are come back to test that major 216, 217 level. You can see we wicked off it earlier this morning. And the question is, do we hold it? If you turn on your Ichimoku, or rather your Mango Ribbon, you're going to see that we came pretty much tested the Tenkin, tested the 21 EMA, and we're living above both of those levels right now. Both.
Yeah. This picture is still on the more than bearish. It's definitely on the more neutral side when you zoom out onto the 2-day time frame and stuff, right?
I would give this the benefit of the doubt, to be honest, Krisha. I wouldn't discount a bounce over here.
Yeah. So I think no, of course, that's what I'm saying. It's neutral, right?
Yeah.
It's neutral in that it could have a bounce. However, there's also a chance that it could break to the downside. But Sean is right, and is that the key level of here is going to be 217. If we start closing 2-day candles underneath 217, that is going to be your first tell, guys. It's going to be your first bearish tell, because even this 217, the way it held over here from April 28th all the way to May 28th, so 1 month of holding that as resistance until we managed to take it out. Okay, and that's when we saw that initial sort of trudge to 250. We got up there, okay, and now what do you know? We're actually coming back down to test this 217 region once again. Okay, so if we break this to the downside, it is going to have some bearish implications. So watch out for this. This is going to be the key level in the more sort of immediate, the more immediate time frames before we actually close the next weekly candle.
The midterm time frames.
Yes, the midterm time frames. Apologies. Okay, so no, good eye on this level. I think I brought it up in my last video, but I'm kind of hazy on the levels I sort of brought up there. I was only aiming for 250. I was looking for 211, 250. But yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, so let's actually move on to the lower time frames. I want to see. So now question is, can we, do we actually break that? Is there anything at play here that would suggest that? Or is there anything at play that would suggest a bounce? And if you pan on over to your 4-hour time frame, Sean, just notice where price is relative to the Ichimoku cloud.
Indeed, and the 200 moving average as well, bouncing off that.
Oh man, wow.
So
the 200 has been pretty all right on the 4-hour time frame. It's a good guide, but you can get easily chopped up on it. That's one thing I've noticed.
I agree. I like to have it on because I want to see confluence with the cloud, right? When it lines up with the cloud, that's when I play it. Mm-hmm. That's when you can really use it on the 4-hour time frame, especially. And when the 200 moving average lines up with the bottom of a flat cloud, I like that. Or the top of a flat cloud, right? You can see what's defended right now.
So what are your thoughts on this picture? I mean, it's a bearish picture, of course, but I still think 217. I think it's going to be. It's really going to hinge on that right now.
I really don't want to dive into the low time frames and get caught up over here, because a lot can happen. There's a lot of 4-hour candles in a 2-day time frame, right? But if we do start closing 4-hour candles above, let's say around 226, Krisha, I think we may make our way back up to the top of the cloud at around 236, to be honest. So
yeah. I actually want to see how price on the 4-hour time frame did relative to this 217 region. So notice how from May 18th all the way to May 20th, we held it as well, overhead resistance here too. There were only a few sort of instances where we managed to kind of take it out, only to lose it on the next the move down, right? So it seems to be pretty guide even on the 4-hour time frame. So that will be something to watch out for, because at the end, I mean, you're looking for those key, those signs of whether or not this trend could have further continuation.
Indeed, yeah.
Right. So okay, I mean, this is neutral, guys. For now, neutral. Is there anything else that you want to add to ETHUSD, Sean?
Not really, but since you just talked about looking at how this level, the 217 level, worked, or rather how Ethereum played off that 217 level historically, I zoomed out and I had the 227 level marked out as well, because that was the target we were just looking for, rather Ethereum to close over to look for the upside. So I have both those horizontals marked, and if I zoom out, it kind of looks like a zone, right? Ethereum is really volatile, so the zone between 215 and 226 is an $11 nominal value, but consider Ethereum's volatility, it's not much. So if you go ahead and mark that out as a zone, Krish, you're going to see that zone has been key in dictating whether Ethereum is going to bounce or not, or get a rejection.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm also noticing on the 12-hour time frame, Sean, is that that 217 level has actually held as resistance in the last time. That 1 month where we were holding 217 as resistance, that was true even on the 12-hour time frame. We did not close a single 12-hour candle over that region. Yep. And the one time we actually closed over that region, we actually had that immediate push all the way up to 250.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be critical even on the way down. So if we lose it on the 12-hour as well, I think the zone breaks too, right? The zone that you're looking at will also break to the downside. So that's something to note there.
If we close about 227, though, I think we're going to see
continuation to continuation to the upside. So yeah, I think ETHUSD is kind of neutral. It's going to be an if this then that. So keep your keep your horizons kind of broad out there. Keep your eyes open, definitely. There is no, it doesn't pay to have biases, right? Your only duty is to be on the right side of the market here, right? It's to make money, and you only make money on the right side of the market.
Yeah, and like I said, if something's trending, just keep buying a coin that's trending. I'm pretty happy right now. My Zilliqa that just bought this morning. This is the fill I was talking about to you, Krish. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Just bounced. It's good, 10% up already now. This is what I mean. Okay, no, it's around 8%, but this is what I mean. Like, you just, coins that are trending on the pullbacks, they are buy opportunities, right? You can take some off the table right off the bat if you're a little unsure, but as long as you're in a bull market, or rather bull trend, the trend is your friend until the trend ends, and Zilliqa's trend has not ended just yet. Not yet.
Cool. So yeah, we'll dissect other altcoins in upcoming.
We've got a few requests for Zilliqa, so perhaps later this evening we'll cover Zilliqa. Bounce, guys, for those of you who have been asking, I know we've got a lot of requests. The 21 EMA, the 10kin on the 12-hour time frame. If you guys have the mango ribbon, that has been your guide. And hey, we're bouncing off it as we speak right now. We lose that level, go down to the Kijun. That's all you're looking for. But we will cover video later this evening.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it for me, Krisha.
Yes, sir. Okay, cool. So now you guys have our thoughts on ETH-BTC, ETH-USD, and a little on the macro market and what we think in terms of overall structure. And yeah, with this, guys, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way, guys. Ciao.